For decades, astronomers have believed something massive might be far beyond Neptune, hidden in the cold, dark edges of our solar system. This mysterious world, often called Planet 9, has never been directly seen. But many scientists think it could be the missing piece to a puzzle that's been bothering them for years, something that could explain strange patterns in the orbits of icy objects way out past Pluto. The idea of Planet 9 isn't new. In fact, the search began more seriously back in 2016 when astronomers noticed something odd. A group of small distant objects called trans-Neptunian objects, or TNOs, were all behaving in a strange way. Instead of orbiting randomly, their paths seem to be strangely lined up. That kind of alignment doesn't happen by chance. It's like a group of leaves all floating in the same direction on a pond. Something must be pushing them that way. Astronomers Mike Brown and Konstantin Batygin studied this and came up with a possible answer. A large planet, maybe 5 to 10 times the size of Earth, orbiting the Sun in a huge stretched out path, somewhere between 400 and 800 times farther from the Sun than Earth is. If true, this planet would take tens of thousands of years to complete just one orbit. It's so far out that even the Sun's light is incredibly weak there, less than 0.01% as bright as we see it on Earth. That makes this planet very hard to spot with regular telescopes. At those distances, light reflected from the Sun is barely noticeable, even from a planet that big. That's why astronomers started looking in a different way, not with visible light but with infrared. You see, even after billions of years, massive planets still give off some heat left over from their formation. This heat can be detected as infrared radiation. So if Planet 9 is out there, it might still glow faintly in infrared. That's where a recent study by astronomer Terry Longfan and his team comes in. They took a clever approach. Instead of launching a new telescope or scanning the sky again, they looked back, way back, at data already collected by two infrared space telescopes. One was IRAS, launched in 1983, and the other was Akare, a Japanese mission from the 2000s. Both of these satellites scan the entire sky in infrared light, recording thousands of cold, faint objects. But here's the smart part. The two missions were separated by more than 20 years. That gave scientists a rare opportunity. If a distant object moved slowly across the sky, it might appear in one dataset, then slightly shifted in the other. Most stars would be in the same place in both missions. But something closer, like Planet 9, would drift ever so slightly against the background of stars. Longfan's team combed through the Akare data, especially a list of objects that were only seen once. These are sometimes ignored because they're hard to follow up on. But for Planet 9, that's exactly the kind of clue they needed. A slow, cold object wouldn't appear in the same spot every time, so these one-time detections were perfect candidates. Then, they used simulations to figure out how bright Planet 9 should be in infrared, based on its possible size and temperature. Using that information, they filtered through thousands of detections from both IRAS and Akare, comparing motion and brightness. In the end, they narrowed it down to just 13 possible objects, and one of them stood out. This particular candidate had just the right kind of motion between the two missions. It appeared in both datasets, but only in the timeframes where it should have. It wasn't seen when it shouldn't be. That ruled out a background star, or a false reading. The small shift in its position between 42 and 69 arc minutes was exactly the kind of movement you'd expect from an object hundreds of astronomical units away. If it's real, this could be the most promising evidence of Planet 9 ever found. Now, this isn't the first time people have thought they found Planet 9. The idea of hidden planets goes all the way back to the 1800s. Back then, astronomers noticed strange things in the orbits of Uranus and Neptune and suspected another planet was messing with them. That search eventually led to Pluto, but Pluto turned out to be too small to explain the odd movements. It was like solving a riddle, but realizing the answer didn't quite fit. Then in the 2000s, New discoveries like Sedna and 2012 VP-113 brought the theory back. Their weird orbits couldn't be explained by anything we currently know in the solar system. That's why the idea of Planet 9 became serious again. But it's one thing to have a theory, and another to find real evidence. That's what makes this new study different. It doesn't just rely on models or assumptions, it uses real data from space telescopes, carefully analyzed with modern computing tools, and compared over decades. This slow, faint movement across time could finally be the proof astronomers have been hoping for. The next step, confirmation. The team wants to observe this object again using one of the most powerful cameras in the world, the Dark Energy camera in Chile. It can take deep, wide images of the sky, which is exactly what's needed to spot something so far and faint. If they can find this object again and measure its movement precisely, they could calculate its orbit, and if that orbit fits the predictions, and the object is big enough, it might truly be Planet 9. Of course, it could also be something else. Maybe it's a large asteroid or a brown dwarf, a type of failed star that didn't get big enough to ignite. It could even be a rogue planet, captured long ago when our solar system was still young and chaotic. Whatever it is, it would still be a huge discovery. If it turns out to be Planet 9, it would shake up everything we know about how our solar system formed. It would suggest that planets can be pushed around, flung to the edges, or even stolen from other stars. That's a pretty wild idea, but not impossible. In fact, some models of early solar system history suggest there may have once been more planets, some of which got ejected completely. This discovery, if confirmed, would also be a win for science itself. It shows the value of old data, patient observation, and asking bold questions. We often think everything in our solar system is already known, but that's clearly not the case. There's still so much to explore, even in our own cosmic backyard. Scientists are watching closely, and new observations are already being planned. Whether this turns out to be Planet 9 or something else entirely, one thing is certain: our solar system still holds secrets, and we're finally starting to uncover them, one clue at a time. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video and want to stay updated on space discoveries, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.